Tragedy struck New York City early on Saturday morning. Two young girls lost their lives after attempting a dangerous viral stunt for TikTok subway surfing. What began as a risky thrill became a fatal accident. Today we look into what happened, who they were, and why this happens more than you think. First, what exactly is subway surfing? Also called train surfing, it's riding on the outside of a moving subway car on the roof, between cars, or along exterior surfaces. It's illegal, extremely risky, and has led to countless injuries and fatalities around the world. This dangerous behavior is sometimes glamorized in thrill-seeking videos online. For someone who slips, misjudges speed, or encounters a low bridge, there's almost no margin for error. One mistake can end your life. Authorities warn this isn't a stunt, it's suicide with a chance of survival. In the early hours of October 4th, 2025, police responded to an emergency at the Marcy Avenue Broadway subway station in Brooklyn. When officers arrived, they found two young females lying unconscious on top of a J train. The discovery was shocking. Both girls were pronounced dead at the scene. Authorities say the call came in just after 3 a.m. The train had been moving through Brooklyn when operators noticed something unusual on the roof. Once the train stopped, responders rushed to the site and confirmed the tragic scene. At around 3:10 a.m., the victims were officially located. Their identities were not immediately released to the public as families were still being notified. What investigators quickly determined, however, was that the two girls had been subway surfing, riding on the roof of the moving train. It's believed the pair climbed up sometime after midnight, possibly filming or attempting a social media video. The J line runs through several open-air sections of Brooklyn, where roof access is easier but also deadlier. One misstep, a sudden turn, or an overhead beam can turn thrill into tragedy in an instant. New York City Transit President Demetrius later called the act suicidal, warning the public about the deadly consequences of this growing trend. He urged families to talk to their children, to explain that there's no second chance once you climb up there. The NYPD's Transit Bureau echoed his statement, saying they've seen a disturbing rise in these cases, often fueled by online videos glamorizing the danger. What happened that morning wasn't just an accident. It was a reflection of how far social media dares can push young people to risk their lives. The two victims were soon identified as 12-year-old Zemfira Mukhtarov from Brooklyn and 13-year-old Ebba Morina from Manhattan. Two young girls, barely teenagers, whose life was just beginning, cut short in one of the most dangerous ways imaginable. Zemfira was described by friends as energetic, daring, and always chasing a thrill. Her family says she had a fearless personality, the kind of girl who couldn't sit still, always wanting to explore something new. But that same fearlessness, her mother said, sometimes crossed into recklessness. In the days after her death, old videos began to surface on social media. Clips showing Zemfira dangerously close to moving trains, climbing through restricted subway areas, and taking risks most adults wouldn't even consider. In one clip, she's seen lying down on the tracks as a train passes above her, a chilling foreshadowing of what was to come. Her mother said she had warned her repeatedly about the dangers, but Zemfira did whatever she wanted. It was her personality, strong-willed and adventurous. But no one could have imagined it would end like this. 13-year-old Ebba Morina, on the other hand, was known as quiet, creative, and kind. Friends say she loved art, fashion, and music, and she often followed Zemfira's lead on adventures. Her family says she was trusting, loyal, and easily influenced by the excitement of her friend's daring spirit. When news of the tragedy broke, Ebba's family didn't even realize what happened until police confirmed it later that morning. Zemfira's older sister recognized her belongings, her purse, and skateboard from the news footage before authorities even made the call. She said, "I knew right away it was her. I just froze." Both families were devastated. What started after the story broke, one question echoed across social media and news outlets: why? Why would the girls so young take such a massive risk? Experts say the answer lies in the powerful pull of social media, a world where danger, shock, and risk are often rewarded with attention. In today's culture, viral moments can make anyone famous for a day. And for many young people, that brief spotlight feels worth almost anything. The subway surfing trend has circulated for years online, but it's exploded recently with TikTok clips, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels glamorizing the rush. Quick edits, dramatic music, Slow motion jumps, all of it gives the illusion that it's thrilling, easy, and harmless. But what those videos don't show are the close calls, the injuries, and funerals that follow. Algorithms push the most extreme content to the top, and the cycle keeps feeding itself. The more shocking the stunt, the more views it gets. The more views, the more likely someone else will try it. Psychologists describe it as risk contagion. Young brains are wired for excitement, they chase adrenaline, independence, and peer approval. When that's mixed with online validation, it can turn deadly fast. Some kids do it for fun. Others do it for clout. Some simply want to prove they're fearless. But in the end, it's the same story of viral moment that costs everything. This generation is growing up online, and that means their mistakes, their dares, and their risks are being recorded in real time. Once you post something risky, it lives forever. And when that risk turns into tragedy, it's not just a story, it's a warning. These two girls aren't the first, and heartbreakingly, they won't be the last. Subway surfing isn't new. It started decades ago as a reckless, thrilling dare among friends. A rush of danger, a test of bravery. But in the age of social media, that same old dare has turned into a deadly trend that spreads at the speed of a swipe. In New York City alone, the MTA says at least 6 people lost their lives in 2024 while attempting to subway surf. 229 others were caught or arrested trying to do the same. That's more than double the number from just 2 years ago, and officials say the true count is likely higher. Each case follows the same pattern. A group of friends sneaks into a station after dark. They film on their phones, the train pulls out. Someone climbs on top, maybe for a few seconds. Maybe for a clip they think will go viral, and then something goes wrong. One slip, one low tunnel, one wrong move, and it's over. One case from Queens still haunts transit workers. A 13-year-old girl died after slipping from the roof of an F train. Her friend survived but lost a leg. Another teen was crushed while recording himself between cars on the D line in 2023. These aren't isolated accidents, they're part of a disturbing pattern that keeps repeating. And it isn't just New York. Cities around the world are seeing the same tragedy play out. London, Berlin, Sao Paulo, Moscow, Mumbai. Different languages, different cultures, but the same story: teenagers chasing a viral thrill that ends in silence. Transit agencies have tried everything: new warning signs, locked doors, social media campaigns, even drones that can train rooftops. But officials admit they can't keep up. Every video taken down, 3 more are uploaded somewhere else. Because in the end, the problem isn't just trains, it's perception. Young people see danger as entertainment, risk as content, and survival as proof of fame. They tell themselves, it won't happen to me. But the numbers say otherwise. Every year, more names are added to the list, and every statistic represents a family who will never get another call, another hug, another chance to say goodbye. So when you hear about subway surfing, don't think of it as a stunt. Think of it as a lottery where the prize is a few seconds of attention and the cost is a life.